Hey, what's going on, everybody? Knowledge here. I recently read an article saying that President Obama's oldest daughter got a chance to work on a pretty, big show. It was a CBS sci-fi show in the field of filming that I believe starred Holly Berry and some other cast members. And this is, basically going to be her first job. She's going to be, learning things about film and how to do things on the computer and, artwork and creativity and so on and so on. Everything that goes into making a movie or being productive on a TV show. But you got a lot of people out here, and I read an article from this one sister. I believe her name was something Lucas. I forgot the sister's name, but she wrote an article saying that it's nepotism, and basically, I'm paraphrasing what she said, but basically she was saying that we have people out here that have college degrees and are not even in the field that they want to be in. They're working minimum wage jobs, or you have people who have graduated from college and still cannot get into the field they want. And she basically got the job simply because of who her father was, which, we all can pretty much put two and two together. Obama pulled some strings, but you got a lot of people hating on this young sister, for getting that opportunity. I was reading some of the comments. A lot of people like, oh, she only got it because of President Obama, and she's too young. I believe she's 15, and she was like, well, she's too young to be starting in the career she wants to be in already. Blah blah blah, and going on, and basically hating on this sis, and then people was relating it back to the job issue that we have here in America, and how black people are out of work. We have the highest rate of unemployment more than anybody, and that is an issue, and it's something that needs to be fixed. But I think a lot of people are, being very jealous of this young sister right here. Let's keep it real out here. If your dad or your mother was Barack Obama, the president of the United States, or your mother was Michelle Obama, and they had the opportunity to pull some strings, or to talk to somebody and say, hey, I got a daughter or I got a son that's interested in this line of work, can you help them out? Can you pull them in, teach them things, give them some some stepping stones to accomplish, to get them started in the actual career they want to be in? You think you wouldn't take that? Or you gonna sit back and say, oh no, mom and dad, I'm cool, I want to do it on my own? No, it's okay. You got connections, or you can get me to where I would have to probably break my damn neck to be, but I'm not gonna take it. It's cool. That's bullshit. And a lot of these people out here are just, basically jealous. And I look at it like, if I'm the president of the United States and I have a daughter or son who is interested in the entertainment industry, whether it's film or whether it's music, whether I have, a son or daughter that wants to play professional sports, and I can pull a little bit of strings. Not saying that I do everything for them, or I basically give them a silver spoon through the whole operation, but if I can, talk to somebody or pull a string here and there in order to get them to in a position that they need to be in order to progress their career or do whatever they're trying to do in life, absolutely I'm going to do that. And I think it's just people out here hating. You got white people talking about, oh, why is she getting that at 15? You got black folks that's being jealous and hating because they might have graduated from college and are not doing what they want to do, or they're working a job that is not paying them what they feel like they deserve. And I understand that frustration. I can remember graduating from graduating from college and not being able to get the job I wanted or the job I felt like I was qualified for. So I know the frustration of that. But we all have to play the cards we were dealt with. I had to work at Target and Taco Bell and little wingy dingy jobs with a criminal justice degree, when I got out of high school, because I had bills to pay. So we do what we have to do. And, networking, I think, is very important. That I think a lot of blacks need to do more. For you guys that don't know, I got my degree I got my BA in criminal justice. And when I got out of college, my passion, I liked criminal justice, but my passion was in the music industry. So what I did is I created my own opportunities, and I stress this a lot. We have to get out of the mindset of we want somebody to quote unquote hook a nigga up, or do this for us or do that for us. We have to start making our own opportunities. We have to deal with things like racism and white supremacy and getting cast out of certain corporations or certain opportunities. Our education system is failing, but with that, we know the cards that we're dealing with, and I'm not saying that it's right that we have to go through those type of things, but at the same time, we have to use the cards that we're dealt with, and we have to flip it, turn, and do whatever we have to do in order to accomplish our goals. But what I did is that, I didn't have no degree in music marketing or anything like that. I had got a degree in criminal justice, but what I did is I created my own opportunities. I came out to LA. At the time, I was dead broke. I didn't have a car. But what I would do is I would go to a lot of hot clubs in LA, and I would bring my portfolio with me. I would talk to a lot of people who were in, different record companies, whether it was other A&Rs or, people who were presidents or CEOs of certain music companies. And I would talk to them. I would network, give them my business card. And when I first started, I had my portfolio with me, but I noticed that a lot of people, when somebody come up to you in the club trying to turn up and everything like that, somebody come up to you with a portfolio, it's like, really, dog? Like, you gonna bring this to me right now? So I stopped doing that, and what I did is I memorized everything in my mind, everything that I want to say, all my credentials with the experience that I did have in media marketing, and I network, and I created my own opportunities. A lot of people told me no. A lot of people said, oh, well, you don't have enough experience, or no, it's not the right time, or so many people told me hell no, rude, shut me down, but I kept going, and finally I got an opportunity to be an intern, and the rest is history. And now I'm doing something that I enjoy doing and I have a passion for. But I say that to say this: we have to create our own opportunities. I didn't sit back and say, well, I want to do that, but I'm going to wait for the white man to come and get me, or, I'm going to wait until somebody just sees me walking down the street and say, hey, you want to do this job, or you want to get into this career? It doesn't work like that. If you want something in life, you got to strive for it. You might not have the connections like, the daughter of President Obama had. You might not have that, but we have to start networking with each other. We have to start, creating our own opportunity, meaning economically. We have to start creating our own businesses. For you guys that are friends with me on Facebook, I talked about gentrification that's going on in LA and across the world. And it's no better time for us to start creating businesses right now and controlling our dollar. But I just wanted to come out here and talk about this. I want to congratulate the sister for getting that opportunity, but y'all stop hating on her, because if you was in her position, you would not turn that down. If you had the connections that she had, you would not turn that down. If you were President Obama, you would do as much as you can possible while you have the power and the opportunity to create the best future for your children. So y'all cut that bullshit out, because if you say you wouldn't, you're lying up your ass. Get the fuck out of here, because you're lying. But, I just think that people need to stop hating. People need to start doing things for themselves and, fighting against the injustice that we have to go through, and the fact that we do have to work as black people in America 2-3 times harder than a white person would for the same opportunities. But we fight that, we combat that, and we come up with tactics to change that. But in the same time, while that's being done, we have to use the cards that we have. If you got lemons, you make lemonade out of lemons. You have to be a hustler out here, and you have to know how to flip and turn and do what you need to do in order to create a better life for yourself. But that's all I gotta say about the issue. Congratulations to her. I wish her well in her path in film. I think that's a great fit. Actually, I wanted to, before I decided to go into criminal justice, I wanted to major in film, but I changed my major. But congratulations to this sister. That's a very interesting film. Excuse me, not film, field. And I wish her well, and I hope she does well. And she's starting at 15 years old, so she has a long time to grow. A long time to learn different things to be the best at what she does. And that's what it's about. It's about doing what you got to do to accomplish your goal. You know, I mean, it's up to you. But y'all stop that crabs in a barrel shit and stop hating on this sister. I'm out.